I've been asked for my boarding pass before, but never 3 times. Not in the same seat, not with this kind of look. You know the look where someone's smiling, but it ain't friendly. Yeah. That happened. Me and my little sister Zoe, just 2 black girls flying first class to see our grandma in San Francisco. Our dad booked the seats 2A and 2B, said we deserve comfort and respect. But apparently, Sandra, the flight attendant, thought otherwise. She walked up, looked us over like she was scanning for stolen goods, and said, "I'm gonna need to see your boarding passes again." Her tone. Suspicious, clipped, like we'd snuck in or something. Zoe froze. She always tries to stay small when things get tense. I handed her my phone again and said, "These are our seats. You can check." I tried to keep my voice steady, like Dad taught me. But inside, my stomach was twisting. Sandra looked at the passes, then at us, and said loud enough for row 3 to hear, "These seats are reserved for first-class passengers only." That's when I knew. This wasn't a mistake. This was a message. And trust me, I've gotten that message my whole life, in stores, in school, at the security line. But there's something about being told you don't belong in a place your father paid for that just hits different. Zoe whispered, "Should we call Dad?" And I didn't even hesitate. Now. She tried his cell first, straight to voicemail. He was in surgery, of course. So she dialed his assistant. 30 seconds later, we had him on the line. Our dad, Dr. Marcus Williams, chief of neurosurgery at Chicago Memorial, calm, deadly precise. He didn't yell. Didn't need to. Just asked to speak to Sandra directly. You should have seen her face change. 1 minute she's playing TSA in the aisle, the next she's pale and quiet, nodding like she's being briefed by the president. She handed the phone back with this stiff smile like nothing had happened. But something had happened. And it didn't stop there. Turns out, Dad made a few more calls while still in his surgical scrubs. His lawyer, the FAA, a couple reporters, and apparently the airline's CEO's wife is one of his patients. Yeah. Within an hour, every outbound flight at O'Hare was grounded for what they called a compliance review. But we knew what it was: damage control. The craziest part. A woman sitting across from us, Elena Whitfield, older, white, Boston accent sharper than a bread knife, had been quiet the whole time. Until she wasn't. "I've flown first class for 40 years, she said. Never been asked for my pass more than once. This isn't protocol, it's profiling." Then she went right back to her book. But that one comment. It stuck. After we landed, the airline scrambled apologies, reviews, suspensions. Sandra got pulled, the captain too. Policies got rewritten. But for me and Zoe, that flight wasn't something we could just file under resolved. It stayed with us. Because this wasn't about one woman questioning us. It was about how many people in that cabin saw it happen. And stayed silent. And I'm not saying Sandra woke up thinking, "Let me ruin 2 black girls' day." Maybe it was unconscious bias. But that's the thing, bias doesn't need to be loud to be damaging. It just needs to be there, chipping away at you every time you walk into a room someone doesn't think you belong in. The part that really gets me. Elena, the same woman who backed us up on the flight, ran into us again weeks later. Turns out, her granddaughter had a tumor nobody in Boston would touch. Until they found Dad. He saved that girl's life. And Elena. She told us, "I spoke up that day because I've seen that look before. I saw it on my husband's face. My kids' faces. I wasn't gonna sit through it one more time." That moment, hearing that, flipped something in me. All the anger, the shame, the chaos dissolved into this sharp sense of clarity. That flight wasn't just ours. It was every seat someone's been told they didn't deserve. Every classroom. Every boardroom. Are you sure you belong here? And you know what's wild? The airline called again, months later. Asked if I wanted to be on their diversity advisory panel. Part of me wanted to laugh. But another part thought, maybe this is how change happens, not from the outside yelling in, but from the inside saying, this stops now. Last month, Zoe and I flew out again to see Grandma. Same airline. Same seats. No drama. No second glances. Just the way it should have been the first time. So yeah. We kept our seats. But we also took something more from that flighter kind of courage you don't unlearn. And maybe, just maybe, someone's kid will board a plane next week, sit down in 2A, and not feel like they have to prove they belong there. Tell me this: what would you have done if you were in that cabin? Would you have spoken up like Elena? Or looked the other way like most did? Drop a comment. Let's talk about what justice really looks like up there in the air. And down here, too.